I hope there are no children listening.
There are not.
We've got a big night here. Let's start, since it's been a while. Let's start as we often do with everybody, reintroducing your characters just briefly. And I'm just going to read down the list as I see them here, starting with Adriano the cat.
Adriano the cat Marcato. He is a swordsman with a military background. He is Illyrian, so he's a homeboy in this land. And he is handsome and dashing and fashionable, but very easily quick to anger, particularly when his honor is insulted or his swordmanship is called into question.
Excellent. McGowan.
Well, we have McGowan here, who is man of the streets, man of the people, lots of odd jobs. We have determined, just based on role-playing, that he probably had the longest amount of odd jobbing out on the docks, and he's in tight with the Union and Union-like people down there.
Okay. And then Toulouse.
Yep, Toulouse Tragique Buffet, ex-military spy from the Calray campaigns. Slightly damaged, very quiet, a lifelong bachelor who refuses to marry. As much as Gigi would like him to marry.
Just close your eyes and think of the house.
Yeah. Very good, yeah. And notoriously bad dice roller.
And Gigi.
Hello, my name is Gigi Leroux. I'm a budding social mastermind here in Irulan. I am from the faraway place of Altore, or so I claim.
Okay. And just for no reason at all and nothing that's going to come up today, let's have each of you remind us who your rival is on your sheet. Let's start with Toulouse this time.
It's Alaric, a mercenary.
Excellent.
What can go wrong there?
McGowan.
Ren, a jilted lover who happens to also be an actor at the very theater that we are trying to get a play produced at.
Coincidence. Gigi.
I left it up to our storyteller to pick a rival, but they are a member of the coteries house. Gigi is not aware of a rival.
Okay, excellent. But you did check off as a rival somebody inside your house.
Yep.
And you actually know roughly who it is. And it is Gregario, a member of an offshoot branch of the house, who would like to have the esteem that you have at this point. And Adriano, your rival, we have met.
Yes, we have met him, Ari, who is a childhood rival, and he works for a different house. And he is also my fraternal twin brother.
Yes, and he works for House Corvetto, who seems to have it in for you and your house these days.
Yes, I wonder how that's going to play out with our brotherly love.
All right, well, we have a play to put on. I have a little preamble here. The legendary Illyrianese historian Alcestis the Younger argued that every turning point in history includes 3 threats: an external threat, an internal threat, and an unexpected threat that seems to come from nowhere. He expounded upon this thesis in his 17-volume history, each book longer than the previous. Today, a complete set is one of the most coveted and least read literary works in the world of book collectors. But his notion of 3 threats has become a necessary feature in all works of drama and literature in Illyrian. And life sometimes imitates art, as Alcestis the Younger learned on the day of his death, after he was shot by an academic enemy from a rival school, poisoned by an impatient heir, and run over by an out-of-control delivery wagon. That takes us to our play. Now, to sum up, your big goal for this winter season was to kick off the spring with a big theatrical performance, which targets, with a modest degree of subtlety, House Almari, who happens to be one in front of you on the tally sheet of the great houses of Illyrian. You have succeeded in pulling together all the elements of this play. It's ready to go, and it is big. And you did it quickly enough that House Almari, everybody in town knows you're putting on a play. House Almari doesn't know that they are the target of it. For all of their efforts, they did not successfully figure out what you're doing. So because of your efforts over the past few sessions, you have made this happen and taken steps at various points to prevent them from finding out about it. That's good news. So we'll kick off our action on the evening of the play itself. Over the course of the evening, there will be 3 challenges that arise that you'll have to deal with to pull it off successfully and put yourselves in a good position afterward. Before the play itself, there's a pre-show gathering. You are being encouraged before being sent off from the Bastion Palace in a small gathering. Prince Francisco Bastion himself, House Chancellor Ilya Bastion, who is sort of your liaison, and even Gigi's rival Gregario all give you encouragement. They're thinking very positively of your efforts here. And Ilya, the Chancellor, who you've been working with thus far, seems very proud of your efforts. She takes you aside after a toast from the prince himself and says, who presents themselves as the leader when you're talking to a member of the house or the contact?
Oh man, that's got to be Gigi.
I would
Probably,
agree.
yeah. Magoon
Okay,
wouldn't do it.
seems like we all agree. Do you feel quite prepared, Gigi? She says. There's a lot riding on the performance tonight.
The stage is set. The lights are ready. The curtain needs only to rise.
As you know, one of our greatest vulnerabilities as a house is magic and enchantments. We have little or no resources in those ways. And House Corvetto, that is their main method of attack, as we've discovered in the last few months. You had made that arrangement with the smuggler Fen to start bringing us some small defensive magical items. I am at liberty to give one of those to you for tonight, should you have this need. And she produces a small jade statue, presumably smuggled in by Fen's people. And she says, I don't fully understand how these things work, but it's supposed to be able to detect the presence of magic and the direction from which it's coming. Hopefully you will have no need of it tonight, but it is in your possession if you do.
Gigi accepts it with great gravity, and I think anyone who takes the time to notice probably sees that Gigi is holding the jade statue rather close and is carrying it as if it were a child.
Creepy, but cool. And Ilya says, I believe they suggest breaking some form of limbs at a performance like this. I wish you well. If all goes well, you will be most in the favor of the house. In game terms, you're going to get a lot of favor if this pans out well. Okay, we're going to have a few different stages here. First, we will start at a pre-show, the traditional Illyrianese theater pre-show gathering of principals. So the director, of course, the stars would gather. There's a big complex, a warren almost behind the stage itself at the theater. And you, the director, the star of the show, Harmon, who is playing the main character, Cosimo Inesca, who is the main character and is there in person to wish everyone well, and some other key players. Of course, there's the riffraff and extras and hands, and they don't get to participate, and it's often the cause of feuds if you're not invited to this in the theater. But we don't need to worry about that tonight.
Yeah.
Before we start the action, I want to hear what each of you would be doing. This is about an hour before the action kicks off in this pre-show gathering. Who would be there in person? If you're not there, what would you be doing around and about the theater at this time? Let's start with Gigi this time.
So Gigi is making herself extremely visible during the pre-show gathering.
And you're effectively the producer. Like by theatrical tradition, you would absolutely be expected to be there. Like you could choose not to, but
I think that there is an element of Gigi, by all appearances, seeming very at ease, very gregarious, talking to as many people as possible. But at the same time, she is essentially gauging who is here and who is a potential threat. So I guess my question to the storyteller would be, are there any people in attendance that either should not be or are suspicious?
No, not a present. But hold that thought for a bit. I will point out that the director, Triala Mansima, has a pasted-on smile and a look that suggests that in a mere 5 hours, she will be done with this busybody producer. Toulouse, what would you be doing at this point?
Toulouse will be at the theater, and he shall be inspecting the theater from top to bottom, from the basement to the wings to the catwalks above, to make sure that there's no skullduggery afoot from either House Almari, but particularly from House Corvetto, because as we've learned in the last few sessions, they're kind of scoundrels.
Excellent. And Magooan?
Magooan is hoping to get a playbill before the play actually, before actually sitting down, right? When they would usually hand them out, because he's definitely a little worried that Ren might be not just in the play, but might have a prominent role, and he's really concerned about what that might mean.
Actually, I was thinking probably you all would be smart enough to not have one of your bitter rivals on the cast. Like, unless somebody
Oh.
wants to contradict that, my assumption is that she is not in the cast. Like, you could have easily given word.
Oh, see, my assumption is that we didn't actually have a whole lot of control over the actual production of it.
But I think you have quite a bit of control.
Oh, okay.
I would not have allowed that.
Oh,
You have the money. Yes.
okay then.
You basically oversaw the writing of the play. Yeah.
Well, still, because we're at the theater, he's going to start looking around the crowd to see if Ren happens to be around. Not to say hi to her, to try and stay away from her, but mostly to watch and keep an eye on her.
Okay. And you're in the house or in the backstage zone? There's kind of...
We'll start in the house, because if she's not in the play, he's going to assume that
Okay.
she might even be one of the principals, and McGowan doesn't consider himself to be welcome at that party, but he'll kind of like look in if he doesn't find her outside the party. Does that
Excellent.
make sense?
Yep.
Looking.
All right. And Adriana.
Adriana, excuse me. I don't have
Adriano. I'm sorry. On my typed up sheet, I changed the vowels. Adriana.
All right. Adriano is crowd control. He will be at the front as people mill in to the theater, keeping an eye out for any Corvetto folks or any suspicious behavior in general, and
Okay.
so that he can report this back to his compatriots. He's more towards the front than the front of house.
All right, we are ready for our first engagement roll, and as a fun treat, I will be making the rolls tonight, since you are the target, and I am running the desperate scoundrels trying to make things happen here.
Oh, I like this.
I will, however, give you an opportunity on this one. If anybody can point toward an ally or friendly contact or something that would help you with security, physical security or surveillance or anything like that in a setup like this.
Oh man, where's Gregor when we need him?
I have Frankie the locksmith. How is a character in this game called Frankie?
I know. Short for Francescus.
So, yes, I have Frankie the locksmith, or I should say Toulouse.
Okay. I will factor that into my dice roll, giving me 2d6 now.
And I also have Feng, a bladesmith.
Ooh, okay. All right. Those are taken into account. I'm rolling 2 dice. Now, a good roll is good for your enemies. You want to see low numbers on this 2d6. Here it comes.
Uh-oh.
A 2. Oh, boo. Okay.
That's excellent.
Oh, you suck.
I love it.
The first... wait. I meant 4d6. Did I say 2d6? Who said 2d6? Okay. We have a 2.
Now.
So, McGowan.
Yes.
You don't see any sign. People are just starting to file in. You go out and look in the line. You don't see any sign of Ren. Of course, she's an actress and could probably disguise herself, but your hackles are raised all the same. As you said, if you didn't spot her in the house, you're going to make her rounds of the backstage zone, which again is labyrinthine and excessive. And just as you're about to give up and write it off to excessive paranoia, you smell a scent, familiar, that takes you back to your 1.5 happy weeks with Ren. The perfume that is almost her trademark. You're on a back corridor here. It's back away from the dressing rooms, but you definitely know you're not imagining this. You have scented her smell. She's been here.
Just like kind of in this general area, in the milling around with the actors, around the props.
You've walked away from the actors themselves into a back area. This is like extensive and more labyrinthine and bigger than someone would need, even for a huge play like you're doing. Maybe once upon a time, the people who built this theater had literally a cast of hundreds sort of production going on that they needed all this backstage.
Well, if wherever I'm scenting it, look if are there flats? Are there fly things? Look to see if there might be anything that's been sabotaged.
Okay, that sounds like a roll. Our first player roll of the evening. What skill might you use?
I can has survey. It's probably the closest I've got.
Survey makes a lot of sense. I think you're assessing the situation. So because of my crappy roll, your first rolls are going to be in a controlled position, carrying little or no risk to you.
Okay. I have 1 pip, so is that 1 die?
Mm-hmm. It's going to be a long theatrical night, but you can always spend 2 stress to give yourself an extra dot.
Yeah, he's definitely paranoid enough. I'm ticking off 2 stress right now.
Okay. You are also welcome to grab one of your compatriots and search together, and then they could spend a stress to give you an extra die if you...
No time.
No time, of course.
All right, here
All
comes
right.
the roll.
So I'm hearing 2 dice being rolled with
4.
a 4. Okay. The small negative consequence is that it takes a bit longer than you would have hoped. That's the consequence. You could resist that if you want, but I see you're already at 4 stress out of 8.
That's
So
okay.
I don't know if
This
you
is
want
fine.
to. Okay.
No, this is all right.
You follow your nose, it always knows, up a stairwell toward a disused dressing room, not being used for this production. You see, and you know from Toulouse, this should have been locked from the inside. The windows hang open. There is a rope hanging down from the balcony, and clearly someone, not just somebody with perfume, has opened this from the inside, thrown down a rope so somebody could gain ingress. You see in the dust of this disused room, somebody came in and 3 somebodies came back out.
Oh no, so what's already happened? Nevertheless, what I am going to do is cut the rope, drop it to the ground outside, and close the window.
That takes some of your moment. Excellent.
Yeah, and then start snooping around a bit more. If there probably aren't any more dusty tracks to follow.
No, once they're out in the main hallway, it would be too difficult to
All right,
follow.
I am heading straight for Gigi to tell her the lay of this land up here.
So you go to Gigi and pull her aside and give her word. What converse amongst yourselves, pulling her away from the friendly gathering where she is the trying to be the center of all eyes.
Miguan, how can I help you?
I am certain that someone is coming in to sabotage our play. I found evidence of people coming in secretly through what should have been a locked room up high in the backstage area.
I see. Do you have any other identifying information in regards to these individuals?
I don't know who they might be, although I feel certain that Ren is involved.
Ah, I see.
I have not found her.
Make Toulouse aware of this, and I would like to charge the 2 of you with determining the exact nature of this issue. I will go speak with Adriano and make him aware of this development as well.
So, for what it's worth, I estimate there are about 3 individuals involved in this potential sabotage.
Oh, excellent. Thank you. And this was in the backstage area?
Yes, I can take you to it if you want. Why don't I take you there?
Not necessary. Perhaps you and Toulouse would be better suited at investigating that area, while Adriano and I make sure that our guests and patrons are well taken care of.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so it sounds like Miguan is gathering up Toulouse for a search, and Gigi, you're getting Adriano and doing what?
Well, I'm going to make Adriano aware of the situation, advise him that Miguan's ex may be involved in some manner. Who was our director again?
Triala Mansima.
Is Triala seemingly enjoying themselves at the party?
Your read on her, you don't even need to roll to do this, is she really wants to get the play started and be done with it. This is like a big deal for her. This is the biggest thing she's ever put on. So just sort of opening night jitters more than anything from her, you think?
Okay. What I would like to do, I'd like to take Triala. I'd like to take Triala aside and request that she, along with any members of the crew, make last preparations and checks of the props, the scene, anything that could potentially have been sabotaged. Of course, this is a very important event, and we want to make sure everything goes off without a hitch. I do not make any mention of any potential saboteurs at this time, merely that they are potentially existing.
Excellent. At first, she braces herself for a last-minute change, but actually she seems relieved to have something to do, really to focus on, rather than this forced, as she sees it, social gathering beforehand. She eagerly starts rounding up the heads of different crews and the orchestra and things like that to do last-minute checks.
Gigi takes a sip of wine and then resumes consorting.
Okay. You mentioned maybe giving word to Adriano?
Oh, yes, of course.
She's like, no, I gotta have some wine, screw it.
Adriano's good. Okay. Okay. Toulouse, now you've got word from Miguan that there are 2, maybe 3 saboteurs on the loose here.
I am going to go up onto the catwalk. On the catwalk.
You're going to do your little dance on the catwalk?
On the catwalk. And from that vantage point, I am going to see if I can see anybody unusual. I would assume, like, Toulouse has already made note of the stagehands and the back of house people and the staff. So he will know who should be there and who should not. And maybe he will follow the scent of Charlie through the air and see if it leads anywhere. But,
All right. What would you roll to do some of these things?
well, that's gotta be what he always does. It'll be survey.
Okay.
2 pips in survey.
Oh, yeah. Well done.
Can I use my artful trespass?
I was just going to say, since this is kind of a flip-flop of the usual thing, I think artful trespass makes a lot of sense here.
Yes, I think I do. I gain plus 1d, 1 die to survey rolls to notice security measures, locks, guards, alarms.
Yeah, so you would
etc.
have that to notice things that aren't as they should be in this case. Yep, that makes a lot of sense.
I also have a question. Are our stress levels carried over from the last
yes, they are.
session? You bastard. Okay.
You got to indulge more vice, my friend. You're also bruised, I see.
I try. I indulge, but it just doesn't help anymore.
You got three dice then on your survey. You could spend 2 stress to add more, or Magooin, who's accompanying you, could add
I'm taking 2 stress.
Oh, wow.
So
there's a lot of stuff coming tonight, people.
That only brings me to 5 stress. So.
I'm going to hold off on adding more stress, I have to admit.
That's probably why.
Save it.
Okay, and we will go with 4. Actually, will I take stress? No, screw it. I'm just going to go with 3d6. That's plenty.
So what can go wrong? And it's controlled, again.
It's me. I'm the king of rolls. And it's 3d6. 2 6s, baby!
Critical.
Wow.
Okay.
We have made trivial your challenges, storyteller.
Oh, I have many more challenges. Okay, but that is an awesome critical. You don't even make it up to the catwalk.
Catwalk.
To the catwalk?
You go back behind where they're all meeting, past a curtain, and you're getting ready to go up the catwalk, and you see back behind this area a door that you knew was locked and shut earlier to a storage closet that you're not using for tonight's festivities. You see it is not completely closed at this point, and the lock is broken. This is a critical. Coming up to it, you see actually a spot of blood on the way into it. Opening it, you see 2 people who, after a moment's inspection, you recognize as extras who are playing soldiers in this play that centers much around soldiery. All that they have left are their underclothes and their prop weapons. They do not have their soldiers' armor.
They're coming out of there, or are they?
They're unconscious. They're unconscious.
They're
in
unconscious
there.
in there.
So I left that out. Yes, they are. They have been stowed in here, unconscious, stripped of their soldiers' uniforms that they were going to be wearing, their theatrical soldiers' uniforms.
Then I am immediately going to notify Adriano, and we need to hunt these individuals down.
I thought you were coming to tell me I needed to go on for one of these soldiers.
Well,
it's your big break, kid. You're Soldier 3.
Wouldn't the director who cast all these people recognize 2 people not in the cast?
This is a play with a lot of extras. And you only have the cast principals here. Like in her inventory now, she might eventually spot the missing people, but it would take some time. Like you've got battle scenes with like 25 people on stage here.
All right.
Because you guys did a big production.
So, Luce, notice anything else other than the fact that they're missing their armor? So they're missing their costumes. So we have 2 soldiers.
Yep. So gathering Adriano and reconvening where the principals are meeting, you're all there because it's carrying forward the critical now. The extras are starting to come in. Since you know what to look for, and most of you actually know what an actor looks like and what a soldier looks like, you immediately spot 2 people who, hey, wait, those uniforms don't look quite right. And they're built like soldiers, not actors. And the 2 of them throw off their helmets and say, Cosimo, you traitor, you ruined our family. And they charge toward the man who looks like the Cosimo Inesca they remember from whenever this betrayal happened. The actor, Harmon, dressed in the spitting image of Cosimo Inesca circa 10 years ago. The 2 of them start striding forward with daggers. With that critical and your advance information, I was really hoping for a big fail here so you get them just as they're getting in for the stab. But alas.
Sorry to disappoint you.
Well, that's okay. This is fun too. They are dashing forward, but you see them and have the drop on them and can intercept them. Adriano, the cat, your reflexes mean you respond first. What do you do?
I will use my unstoppable to stop them.
Excellent. So push yourself means you spend 2 stress to activate it.
Okay, I can do that. Let's do
then
that
you
real
have a choice. You can literally just block their way, presumably with your sword out, and leave them vulnerable to other people to try to attack. Or you can then make a skirmish roll and try to take them both on at once. But I don't think the cat would exactly have the guts to do that.
Are you freaking kidding me? No. How dare you,
Oh, that was
sir? How
blatant.
dare you? How
goading
dare
you.
you? I will stop them and skirmish them.
Uh-huh.
I will
Now,
skirmish them good.
okay, let's just sum up the situation. You could see these are military people. You have your sword and they have daggers. This gives you an advantage over them. Usually you could at best take on one at a time on equal terms. With an unstoppable, a solid roll here, and you guys are still in controlled position. A solid roll here means you can beat them both by yourself. Your risk here is a minor bit of damage. You know you can use your longer sword to try to stave off their daggers, especially while you're using unstoppable. So you can roll. Skirmish seems like the one for hand-to-hand combat. This seems like a textbook sort of skirmish.
Yep.
That's 2 dice. Somebody could throw a stress now to give a 3rd die if you would like. And the cat could spend 2 more stress to get another die, but you're really racking it up here.
Toulouse will throw in a die. We'll
Okay.
throw in a stress.
Thanks, Toulouse.
Sure.
Okay. And what are you doing? What's Toulouse doing narratively?
I am also going to engage them. I'm going to back up Adriano with, let me go through what I've got. With his throwing knives.
Excellent. Oh, and you guys should, I'm sorry, pick your load, discreet or loaded.
Oh, I'm just gonna be loaded because this is our house, and I'm security. So
Okay, the
Yep.
2 of you are loaded. Magooin?
I admit I went discreet because I didn't want to look like I was ready for trouble.
Sure. And Gigi?
Discreet as always.
I imagine so. Okay, now we're ready for that, Darla. You've got 3d6 on this skirmish
All right.
roll.
Okay, cross your fingers, guys. 3d6.
Crush their fingers.
5. Okay,
Not bad.
so you do take a light nick in the course of this.
Okay.
Is the side consequence is going to be nicked up if you want to put that in for your level 1 harm. I don't know if you want to risk stress to resist it at this point. You guys really have a lot of stress.
No. It's just like tis but a scratch.
Excellent. However, describe what you do. Do you kill them, disarm them? You can narrate the outcome because you, with unstoppable, your sword, and having the drop on them, you win. However you want that to look.
How I win is they are charging forward, and I immediately step in front of them, blades crossed. I have a couple blades because I'm loaded. So swords crossed, and I do that sort of cross swords clang, like I'm, like you shall not pass. And they obviously are startled. And at that point, I use the hilt of one of my swords to hit one of them in the head, and I'm trying not to shed blood here, but I want to teach him a lesson. So I hit one of them with the butt of my sword, and I kick the other one in the chest away from me so that he falls over.
Boom. They are both staggered. Magooin and Toulouse, you can secure them if you choose to, now that Adriano has quickly rendered them vulnerable to being captured.
Yep, that was exactly what I was thinking should happen.
Okay, a bit of chaos breaks out now. The one who isn't unconscious, it's actually a man and a woman, by the way. You would say brother and sister. They are the one who's still conscious, the woman is howling imprecations at the subject of your play, while Cosimo is, you shorted us on our pay. Of course we fled. So there appears to be some sort of history here.
Toulouse rolls his eyes and walks towards them while producing from his pocket a vial of sweet sleep.
Nice.
Very
okay.
nice.
All right. They shall trouble us no further. Gigi Harmon, the lead actor in the play you've worked up to so much, you see he looks at the daggers lying on the ground and looks down at himself. You see a moment of panic, and he says, "You can't expect me to perform under these circumstances," and starts to stride away toward an exit.
I immediately fall upon him. My hand immediately snakes around his shoulder so that I've got him. And I am just going to start to calm him down. And I'm going to say, As an actor, do you not see this as sufficient motivation? You are about to go into the field of battle. Use this. Use this stress to give a performance of a lifetime.
Excellent. Okay. I think we can have a roll there from Gigi. I could see a couple possible skills. What are you thinking?
I mean, it's the eternal struggle with Gigi, where my consort and Sway are equal, so it's a little bit of both.
Okay.
I'm
You're going to get help
yeah.
from you're going to get an aid assist from an unexpected quarter.
Ooh.
Kazimo says, "The lady's right, lad. You're a soldier now. Here, this served me well on many a battlefield." And he produces a flask that you thought you had confiscated from him a long time ago. So he is aiding you for a bonus die.
Okay. Oh!
A 6.
Very nice.
Yes, well done.
I'll take that 6.
He takes a swig, coughs a bit, says, "I'm a soldier now.
Yes,
Charge
you
into
are.
battle."
Charge into battle. Yes, there you are.
Okay.
Why don't we take you back to your dressing room to get you ready?
Okay. Everyone, you have just overcome challenge number 1.
Oh, good.
Between now and when the play starts, if anybody wants to try to quickly indulge a vice, you can do so, but there might be some side effects here.
Oh,
Toulouse would like to sneak off to the bathroom for a few minutes and
Okay.
powder his nose.
Remind me what your vice is, and please, for the love of God, I don't think there's that on the list. Okay.
My vice is not the love of God. No, my vice is pleasure in drugs, particularly very hard drugs.
Okay.
He's a battle scarred veteran. He's
Okay.
tormented, so he has a bad habit.
You've got 4 stress. Here's the deal. You can try your drugs. If you overindulge, you're going to have a level 2 harm.
Toulouse is just going to die in a toilet. Great.
No, you're just going to have a level 2 harm for the duration.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
D6, Toulouse.
Riding the white horse
in the
in the
cubicle,
bathroom.
riding the white horse in the bathroom. Oh,
You're
shit.
2 stressed. So you
Ew,
controlled your
fine.
dosage very well. You didn't overdo it. Does anybody want to try to indulge your vice quickly off to the side?
Yes. Well, my vice is. Oh, this is going to be. I hope there are no. I hope there are no children listening.
There are not.
Your vice is pleasure. Oh yeah, I believe brothels
Yeah.
were on the agenda.
Courtesans. I like the courtesans. So
That's right, and I believe some of them are extras in this play that you actually recruited.
Exactly. I'm gonna sort of drag one of them off
Oh my
into the dressing room.
Don't drag women
Okay.
off.
You are risking, if you overindulge, which you've got 5, so it might be tough to do. If you overindulge, though, you're going to have a social harm getting caught.
Oh, a scandal. Okay,
Exactly.
so I have my worst attribute is spirit.
Mind, it looks like. I see. You've only got 1 dot in mind that I see.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry. I thought
Yeah.
we were looking at the above ones. No.
Oh yeah, no. So
it's mine.
1d6 you've got.
1d6. Okay. Oh no.
Nice.
Okay, you clear your stress. Yay! You do
two
it
stress, yes.
You do it noisily and don't notice when somebody comes in. So you're zeroed out on stress. You are going to have a level 2 harm. What the hell kind of servant of a noble house is caught so with their pants down? So literally.
Okay, so disgrace, is that what I'm going to?
I think so on your level on a level 2
If
harm.
I
Okay,
may,
disgrace.
would this
Yes.
be a situation where I could utilize my special armor to resist a complication related to suspicion or persuasion for you or your coterie?
Yes.
Oh, Gigi,
Yes,
you're
I
so
think that makes a
kind.
lot of sense. Yeah.
Gigi, hearing what's going on backstage, quickly intercepts the interloper and then comes back, knocks on the door, and says, "Adriano, put your dick away and give me back that extra."
And Adriano, terribly embarrassed that Gigi has overheard him, does what she says
Excellent.
and release the courtesan.
Yes. And she takes her place now with the cast of which she is a part.
She's busy. She's busy right now.
Do I get to remove the disgrace now?
Right, yes, because Gigi used the special armor, so you don't take this social consequence. Very nice.
All right. Well, thank you, Gigi.
You're
Maguin
welcome.
or Gigi, do you want to try to quick relieve some stress, knowing
like to-
that there are possible consequences?
Yeah, yeah. I'm going to gamble whether or not the story about Adriano gets out.
Okay.